Hello everyone, it's Christine here and I am back for the little debrief at the end of day 2 of the amazing Fleur Woods retreat. So I put together a little video compilation and put a voiceover of it that mainly combines photos that I took today as well as a few bits of video along the way. And like yesterday's video, it does have some sightseeing at the end of the video because Alex and I headed out after class and took Travis down to Kangaroo Valley and then went to a lookout. So there are some local visiting, some touring around at the end if you like that, but feel free to switch off if you're not into that and you're just here for the stitching and the retreaty goodness. So it was another beautiful day of creating amongst wonderful kindred spirits. I just feel so nurtured and so inspired and so relaxed and energized and all the good things really. You can be relaxed and energized, I think. So I thought I'd give you a little look at where my piece that I started on the first day is up to. So I think I left you last night doing some ribbon embroidery. I've now added some buttons to the center. It's not buttons, some beads. I think I'm losing my words because I've just gone into total relaxation mode. And I've added some leaves using some of my hand-dyed wool that I dyed with Inktense, just op-shop wool. I can't remember. I think I had already done the outlining in purple with you. I think I did that with you. And then I proceeded to do, I don't think I'd worked over here, had I? And I did a chain stitch with wool around here and then filled it in with some random threads from that bundle of wonderful goodies I got from purveyor of Reclaimed Textiles, Melody. And then I also had this lovely ribbon, again in that bag of mixed threads. And so I used that to do these little flowers down here. And I love that it's got a bit of bluey purpliness in it. What I'm then next thinking I'm going to do is probably put some yellow beads in the center of this one to sort of bring the yellow across. I thought while I have it out, because I was just finishing off the brown beading, I would give you a look at my little mobile beading tin. So I'm using an old, well not that old actually, it was an LD biscuit tin. I think it had lovely speculoos biscuits in it. And then I got these containers from the reverse art truck which fit beautifully in the tin, leave a bit of room to have some beading needles and things at the side. And then I've got my little beading triangle, which I got in a previous vintage haul, which is so good. And then I put a little magnet in, which actually holds this in place when this is traveling. And the other great thing is I can actually put my needle on the magnet as well if I have a loose beading needle out. And then each of the cases hold beads. In some cases when I'm running out of space I might put the bugle beads and the gold beads and the yellow beads together and then I can just pick out what I need. But I think I'm going to use these yellow ones for the middle of this piece over here. So my other plans for this are to, I think, finish off this leaf down here, and I'll probably use a bit of creative license to have the whole leaf, so I won't stitch in this leaf that's overlapping it. I'll pretend as though this leaf is at the front. I'll probably even do it over the top of this little bit of the flower here, just to give that real sense of foreground. And then I'll do this little flower up here as well. Sorry, just got a tickle in the throat. I was eating a biscuit a moment ago. I'm just going to pour myself a little drink. It's the benefit of being at the dining table. And then I'm thinking potentially that I'm going to leave the other flowers around here, not stitching them entirely, but I might outline them in a unifying thread colour. I might stick with a colour that's similar to the actual design. And then over here, I'm thinking I will use ribbon embroidery for this flower up here. And then I think I will do this leaf and this leaf and this leaf. But then I think again, I will leave the rest of the flowers. Originally, I was thinking I was going to do weaving in the middle here, but I'm actually wanting to leave that sort of sense of negative space. So I'm going to just, see where that takes, and that's why I'm just not rushing into it. I'm wanting to let it sort of settle between sessions, and that is something that Fleur does recommend, that you have a few pieces on the go so you can kind of, see where you're up to and have a bit of a think about next steps. And so this is the piece that I started today, and this was one of the pieces of fabric that I dyed yesterday, coloured up. These were actually fingerprints, and then used the spritzy bottle, which you might have seen in the video yesterday. Fleur took a lovely photo of me creating this that she popped on her Instagram, and so I popped that in the video too. And so I decided I wanted to have a flower in the centre, and you'll see in the video that follows there's a lovely piece where Fleur has then radiated out with little dotted lines of stitching coming out. I'm pondering on doing that. I'm also pondering on maybe having more sort of curved lines, or possibly using French knots to create the lines and having French knots and beads interspersed. So lots of possibilities. I thought first up I'll work on the flower. Who knows whether I'll even get to that stage this week, or whether I'll start another piece tomorrow, because it is good while Fleur's there to kind of be able to talk through things like composition, etc. And I am very keen to do a fabric collage piece. So I've decided on this one. I want to use different techniques across the petals, almost like a flower sampler of different techniques. And Fleur sometimes does that, where she mixes up the different types of things she's doing in a particular flower. So this one has weaving, but I laid down all my weaving lines going up straight. I did, when I was listening to Fleur a bit later, you can actually fan them a little bit, but then what I did was wove up and down, so it sort of gives a sense of a petal that's a little bit curved is the idea. And similar to this, like when I did the thread painting on this one, following the sort of the movement of the petal. This was an idea from Fleur to couch down. I ended up using some thinnish wool and then couching it down with a variegated thread. Just love that effect. Almost looks like weaving, but it's a different technique. And then here I was just starting to do some mark making with a reddy colour, and then a lady had brought along these gifted threads. I think they're quite old by the sort of the mottling on the paper. She'd got them either in Japan or from someone that was into Japanese stitching. But I just fell in love with this one, and it is absolutely beautiful. I hope you can see it's got the most gentle shimmer in it. It's incredibly thin. I think it's some sort of man-made, like not a natural fibre, but you can almost see it's like it's got little lights along it, like tiny little bits. And so I thought it'd be lovely to bring the fineness of that thread in amongst the more bold perle thread that I'm using there. So that I'll continue to work on. Whether I'll use it, this shimmery, I think I'll use it over the whole petal. I was just wondering, and I can always come in the middle and have a tiny bit less shimmery, but I want it to almost be like maybe this petal's caught some water in it or has a bit of dewdrop. And I thought this could be even lovely just to go around and add some highlights to the outside. Something Fleur says she usually does do when she's doing different types of petals is she might do a unifying colour for the outlining around all the petals at the end. So that's something that I can come to. So lots more petals to go on this. And then I've obviously got the inner group of petals as well. And then I've got these little bobbly round bits, but they could become little stamens or little beaded clusters possibly. Maybe beads could be lovely. And I suppose I can also potentially bring some ribbon in, but I thought I might keep this more to the embroidery, given I've done mixed techniques over on this one. We'll see where that takes us across the course of the week, but I thought I'd just start off with that. And I think in my voiceover I end the video very abruptly, so I will say to you now, thank you for watching and have a wonderful week. And here is the little compilation that I've put together with some views from today. I hope you enjoy it. Hello everyone, it is Christine here, and here's just some little glimpses from day 2 at the Fleur Woods retreat. So what you're seeing first up is the pieces of fabric that I painted yesterday, and then these are some other places where people have their work from yesterday. This is the workshop just getting started and everyone feeling very joyful and inspired. A beautiful Fleur Woods bag there. And then these are some of the pieces that Fleur brought as floral inspiration, so images that we can incorporate into our artworks. This is some lovely work by Chris, who I've been sitting next to, a lovely lady, a fellow slow stitching community member. And then these are some of the other works by other folks on our table. Lovely relics of Bron, who I've met through the previous workshops. This is a beautiful piece by Christy. And I think these are some threads that Christy has been dyeing. And then I couldn't resist showing you the lovely thread table with all the threads that Fleur is supplying. It's like going to a lolly store. We can just help ourselves to what we need for the pieces that we are creating. Just absolutely delicious colours. And here's a lovely lampshade in the studio space. I just love the little bees on it, and another artwork by an upcoming workshop artist. So inspiring seeing all different textile arts around you as you're creating. So back to the table where we all had our pieces that we had dyed yesterday laid out, which had dried overnight. That's the piece I was shared in yesterday's video. So I finished using the ribbon on that. That's the formal start to the workshop with Fleur welcoming us to the day and talking about how things are going to proceed. That's a beautiful little stall that Zoe has in the studio. And then you can see you had drying racks out for further dyeing of fabrics if people wanted to do that. That's the lovely Chris, who I've been sitting next to, so it was nice to get a photo together. And then Fleur spent some time showing us some different techniques for thread painting, and it was just lovely to see and hear her approach to it. So we sat around the table, stood around the table. It was also a great chance to have a look at some of Fleur's beautiful artworks and sample pieces. So you'll see images of the sample pieces interspersed with this section where Fleur is illustrating the thread painting using some of her beautiful wools there. And then that's Chester, the studio dog, who Travis loves to have a play with. You'll get to see Travis having a play a bit later on. And these are some of Fleur's incredible works. And yeah, still around the table while Fleur is illustrating the process of thread painting, giving us lots of wonderful tips and techniques. Definitely already using some of the things I've learned, and it was great just to sort of, after this launch into that. That's another example from Fleur's sample pieces, some more beautiful Fleur artworks there. Just so inspired by the different approaches. Definitely want to try some of the layering of fabrics and other things together. Lots and lots of inspiration there for sure. So I hope you're having a wonderful creative day as you're watching this, and hopefully it's giving you some little glimmers of inspiration. That's the back of one of Fleur's pieces. You know, I love looking at the backs. That's the back of another one. And then that's the front of that one that we were just looking at. I could study it for hours for sure. Some more beautiful Fleur work. Just love that combination of the pinks and the green on the green dyed fabric. And the detailing around the hoop, the stitching that Fleur does. Definitely want to try that on at least one of my pieces as well. Some more Fleur inspiration. And some more. You can tell I love this one. But it's, interesting the different angles you look at it. You see something different every time. Yeah, love that edging technique with wrapping the hoop with the thread or ribbon. Now someone kindly, in fact it was the lovely Bron, brought along a whole bag of trims that she didn't need anymore, so we all had a lovely little forage. Another piece of Fleur's lovely artwork, and that's where Fleur was still illustrating the process of thread painting. It's just really, really inspiring. And that's the back of another Fleur work. And then Fleur was bringing, I think at this stage, bringing in some red, but she likes to combine the reds and the pinks together. And then this next piece you're seeing is a piece that Bron has been working on, and she brought it along to show Fleur, but also happy to show us as well. And we get the most beautiful catering from the lovely Zoe. We had scones today, Devonshire tea scones. And there's a bit more of Bron's lovely work. Loved how she layered that sort of meshy, lacy piece over the fabric. And there's a view of the studio. We had some lovely light flowing in over lunch, which you can see there. Again, Zoe had spoiled us with beautiful pies for lunch. And this is another piece of the amazing painting by the lovely Chris, who I was sitting next to. She is an absolutely beautiful painter. And then this is a walk that I took at lunchtime, just around visit. We finally had some sun, and so I just took a little walk over to the field to visit with. I was hoping to see the llama or the alpaca, but the horse came over instead for a little hello, so you'll see that also. So we'll just wander over there to the paddock. You can see how green and lush it is, which is not surprising given the amount of sort of misty dampness that often descends. But yeah, no llama, but you will get to see a nice horse. It was a friendly one. It let me give it a scratch on the head, which was lovely. So I called out to the horse. He looked over, he or she, I'm not sure which, and then proceeded to mosey on over. But a lovely spot for a horse and a llama and a sheep to hang out. They were all there when Alex came to pick me up with Travis today. Probably waiting to see everyone arriving. So the horse was just having a little nibble on the way over, but then came over for a scratch of the head. I was hoping it would be a friendly horse, but it definitely was. Let me have a little scratch of the head. Beautiful creatures, gentle creatures. And then it was back to the studio, past Zoe's lovely house, and back round into the courtyard that leads to the studio. And then back into the piece that I was working on today. So I drew myself out another flower inspired by a vintage sheet flower, and in fact I've interspersed the things slightly differently. So that's the outside of the building there, and then back to the piece that I was working on. So weaving on one, thread painting on another, and then couching down some wool on the third piece there. So that's the couching down there, and then I think I proceeded to put some further stitches into it, which I think you might see a bit later on. And that's just, the lovely vibe in the room, everyone creating, chatting away. There's Chris doing some of her amazing painting. And here's this piece now with more of the stitching into it to sort of bring the two pieces together. And then it was time for end of the day. And Travis came and had a lovely play with Chester, the studio dog, a lovely romp around in the garden.
they're the perfect size for each other, and they both like that sort of jumping, leaping game. It was funny, Chester kept coming up to me in the studio today because I think he was sort of wanting to know where Travis was, and he kept leaning against my leg and giving me little touches with his head. And that's someone's painting out, drying on the racks in the sunshine, and that's another work where someone's working with leaves, where they've cut up their painted fabric to make the leaves. Just love the creativity in the room. It's really incredible. And then Alex and I took a drive after class over to Kangaroo Valley. So we're coming into Kangaroo Valley here. Travis had another swim in the river, which he was thrilled about with the sun shining. So you can see him in the river there. We walked down the riverbank a little bit, and I think I've taken some video further down here. And so it's in a lovely sort of canyon, these incredible rock faces, which you see all the way sort of driving down. Lovely flowing river. And Travis will always say yes to a swim if offered. And then looking around. And down to Travis, probably wanting a snack. And then we just walked back out, but that's a beautiful bridge that you drive over to get into town. And then after we were here, we headed up to a lookout. It's called Kangaroo. I think I got that right. So this is the beautiful views from the lookout. We were lucky there was no one else up there. There's normally a cafe open, I think, and I imagine it would get very busy on what is a very narrow road that leads up there. But thankfully there was not cloud obscuring the view, and it was really lovely spot. So we just walked down to where the main lookout area is. So just giving you a look around, saying hello to Travis as always. Just heading down to enjoy the views.
It's pretty spectacular. Look at that.
It's just really, really lovely. So again, I hope you're having a beautiful, relaxing day, and sending you a hello from all of us here. And I'll sign off now.